Welcome to Sandlot the Crew, where Sandlot Radio Show meets Wrecking Yard Baseball and Softball. I'm your host, Will Kiger, a.k.a. Wrecking Yard Will, and we are live from the Wrecking Yard here in Torrance, California, beautiful South Bay. Next to me, I have owner-operator, former Division I player, and professional player, Mason Morioka. Next to him, I have CIF Champion head coach in his first year as a high school head coach at Penn High School. It has never been done there in like a bajillion years. Shout out to Nick Green. And next to him, we have young coaching star on the rise, first ever Wrecking Crew team player, hoops player, Mr. Jake Hicks. Shout out to you guys. So also shout out to our sponsors, South Bay Credit Union and Restore Hyper Wellness. Appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Make sure you go check them out. If you are in the South Bay and you want to start opening an account with them, they will give you the first $50 for free.
What?
Just for opening an account, you get $50 for free. Times are hard out here, all right? So, I mean, you might want to go over there and
college
say,
students.
I came from Wrecking Yard, college students. They're against all, it's a different thing than the big banks. So the fees, there's like no fees. It's just a way better situation, honestly.
That's a movie
it's
day.
Amazing.
It's
amazing.
That is a movie day for me. I love it.
So anyway, our last topic was who's going to be the best player in major leagues in the next 3 years. And we did position players because we were like, do we do pitcher? So this is going to be who will be the best pitcher in the next 3 years. We got a lot of good contenders out there. I'm going to start off with the guy. I'm going to throw this guy out there. He was number one on MLB Network's list for top 10 pitchers right now. This man actually faced him in his college career, got a hit or two hits off him. 2 hits.
But also struck out 3 times against him.
No, we don't. That didn't happen.
So that's actually
Hey, that's 2 for 5?
Yep.
Batting 400 off Mr. Garrett Cole. Could he be the best pitcher in the next 3 years?
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's nasty.
He is disgusting.
His stuff is real good. And I think he's only gotten better as he aged.
Yeah.
I think, as he was younger, he had the high 90s fastball. I think really before we really saw that change come in Major League Baseball where, most of the starting pitchers were 95 plus. I think he was one of the guys that kind of started to change that, the kind of starting pitchers that we're seeing nowadays. And like I said, as he's aged, I think the location with the fastball has gotten better. I think the location with the slider has gotten better. He's really learned how to pitch, throughout his career in the big leagues. And, excited to see what's to come of Garrett Cole.
Yeah, not only nasty stuff, but a very cerebral pitcher, a very intelligent guy who understands pitching, he understands how to attack the zone. And I think the pitch clock helped him a lot because he's so cerebral. He was taking too much time. He was overthinking shit. Pitch clock comes in, wins his first Cy Young. So this could be a role for Garrett Cole if he can stay healthy and stay hot. What do we think about that over on that side?
I think I know mine, but I don't know if I want to say it in front of him.
What do you think about Garrett Cole? Do you think he could be?
I think Garrett Cole is going to be nasty for the next 3 years, 100%. I think like how you kind of said, when he started with the Pirates, he was kind of an unknown, right? He went in there. I mean, he was so his expectations were so high, didn't quite meet him. And then you set him off to I think he might have been on another team before.
Astros.
The Astros was the team that I was thinking of. Like when that Astros team, when he hit that, I think that's where he blossomed and grew as not only a player, but as like a human being. Like being around him, like I think as a team, like every team that he's been on since then, they've been at least successful, right? So with the Yankees, I mean, he's finding his own. I think he found his own in the Astros, and he's only going to grow from here. So I think I don't know if he'll win another Cy Young. I don't know if that will happen, but I definitely do think that we will still be talking about him in 3 years, 100%.
I mean, he goes from playing with the Pirates where there's no run production to now with the Yankees where you do have offensive firepower. Might not have a defense or pitching, outside of him. But, I mean, not a surprise. I think it's that way for – a lot of players, where you go, where you play at. I mean, because he was, when he got the Pirates, he was the guy, but if you don't have things around you, it doesn't matter how well you play. I mean, so, in 3 years, I think that he'll probably be one of those guys that's kind of like what we're seeing now out of Verlander and Scherzer, where, just a guy who has the stuff, knows how to pitch, cerebral. I mean, he is a bulldog on the mound. So, I mean, he'll be relevant. Do I think that he'll be The best, I think no. I just think that there's a lot of other talent out there from starting pitching to see in 3 years what, guys like Spencer Strider, what could he be in 3 years? What could some of these younger guys, he touched on it, the Japanese pitcher that the Dodgers just signed. Like,
Yamamoto.
Yeah, I mean, like, what in 3 years does that guy look like where he's faced, major league competition? And so I think there's a lot of young pitching talent out there. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I think he'll be a staple.
And I think one thing I'm starting to like more and more is the international talent that's coming into the major leagues.
Yeah.
The Japanese pitchers, the Dominican pitchers, starting to see, more and more players come out of the KBO. So I think that just the diversity of the game is starting to change. And, and I think it's really bringing the best into baseball.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go rapid fire, try to get through this list real quick. So the number 2 on the list is Corbin Burnes, who I think is an absolute stud, a guy in a small market team, but still gets the shine because the stuff is ridiculous, a great pitcher. Do we think Corbin Burnes could be number 1 in in the next 3 years?
No, not with where he's at. Not with the Brewers.
Not with that team.
Not with that team.
Okay.
I think if he goes to a big market team, call it the Dodgers, the Yankees, I would say even the Phillies are starting to become a big market team.
Yeah.
You see him on one of those rosters, and kind of like what Nick said about the run production for Garrett Cole. He starts to win 15, 17, 20 games. Now he's going to be really, really, really relevant.
What do you think about Corbin Burnes, Jake?
I was a big Corbin Burnes fan when he first came out because Cutter was kind of what I kind of threw. Like, that was kind of one of my more main pitches when I was younger. So seeing his, I was just like, damn, like, I wish I would have saw him when I was playing. I wish he would have came earlier, but great pitcher. I mean, I think that I personally think, I mean, it's hard to say because like kind of like you said, the run production, but I think he's going to move on from that team sooner rather than later. And I think that he'll end up with a team like the Phillies or he'll end up with a team. I'm scared he ends up like a team like the Marlins. Hope not. But I do think he'll find his own, and I think that he'll end up picking it back up and finding where he was before. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, another guy who is a great pitcher. Obviously, we're talking about him. I mean, he's number 2 on the list for a reason. I think that a lot of guys that we've seen the last 5 years that have showcased that they not only have the talent, but they can produce good seasons. I don't think that changes in 3 or 5 years for some of these guys. It's just going to come down to are they Cy Young worthy? Depend on obviously how their stuff is that year, but really about what the team is behind them. Do they give them run production? How's the other field that they're playing against? Like right now, the NL Central is down. Cardinals for the first time in my lifetime.
Yeah.
They didn't make the playoffs. They don't they have pieces there. You have Goldschmidt and Arenado and stuff, but that's a staple organization that I feel like for the first time kind of stumbled a little bit. And it's natural because they just had Wainwright and Yachty finally leave. There was the changing of the guard.
I think too, the Cardinals just were moving their position players around too much and no one ever got comfortable. But number 3 on the list is a guy who, doesn't have the 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but is a guy who really knows how to pitch and had a tremendous season last year all the way through the playoffs and even the World Series, and that is Mr. Zach Gallen.
I think the big field that he plays at in Arizona, I think has a big time factor to do with his success. One of the balls that in the NLDS that Chris Taylor hit to right center, I think it said in 27 other ballparks,
Jeez.
It's a home run.
Yeah.
I think it was a diving play by Alec Thomas in the right center
Oh,
gap.
wow. That was an incredible catch,
Right.
too.
So I know all of us remember that catch, but that is a home run in 27 other ballparks.
Yeah.
Great point.
So
Great point.
My point being is that, if he's playing for just another organization, or even if that game was just at Dodger Stadium, that's a tie ball game.
Yeah.
As opposed to still a 2-run ball game. Arizona's still leading, and we're talking about the Diamondbacks in the World Series instead of the Dodgers.
Well, that's why I think you have guys that play in Colorado. Why there's always that thing of it's Colorado.
Yeah.
Home runs kind of go out there. So being able to have guys that play elsewhere and still perform, that's where the big indicator is. Zach Gallen, go off Mason's point. I don't think that guy in 5 years is, we're thinking, oh my God, it's the best pitcher in the league. So I think that he's good for the Diamondbacks, a guy who pitches more to contact, and obviously in that big ballpark. Why not?
It works.
Well, use your advantages.
Can hit a 418-foot fly out.
So right center field or left center field.
Yeah, absolutely. And and you see it in the way the Diamondbacks have, their outfield. You got speed. It's not just in center field.
Stupid
Yeah, a
speed.
lot of speed. Alec Thomas can fly. Corbin Carroll.
Yeah.
A lot of speed out there. Jake, what's your thoughts on Gallen?
I think Gallen's a very impressive pitcher, but I think like what you just said, that outfield is going to save him for a good amount of his career, but I also don't think it's going to save him enough to where he's going to be the best pitcher, I should say, in the league in 3 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't.
I think we've always looked at, it could just be me, but when I think of like best pitchers, even when I play, like you're looking for a guy who is like getting the strikeout numbers, those high numbers is, hits wise is obviously down low, walk percentage, hopefully down low. And the ERA is somewhere below that 2.5. If you're doing all that and you're kind of in the top 3 of those categories, like that to me is where like you are the guy in the league. And we've seen like when Greinke had that 1 year, it was like 1 point.
Stupid. It was like
Yeah.
1.6 or 1.7
Yeah,
ERA.
you throw something like that, like
Hands down.
I don't care if you got the 100-mile-an-hour fastball or if you're throwing 91 or you're throwing 50-mile-an-hour changeups.
Right. Okay. Let's move on. So the next one is an OG in the game, one of the old heads at this point, who's been phenomenal his whole career and
Max Fried?
still can do it. No, he's not that old. This guy is Justin Verlander.
Oh, I did not hear
JV.
his
Do I
name.
think? Do I think
Can
Verlander
he
in 5
last
years?
another? No, it's 3 years. But
3 years?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to give it Verlander 5. He's going to do the Tom Brady. Verlander's going to be still chucking
He
it.
is the Tom Brady
Yeah,
of-
45
yeah.
years old. I believe in Verlander at this point in time.
To
Like,
me,
Don't doubt that,
to
man.
me, it's like if Wainwright could do it, I think he can do it. But yet again, I don't think he's going to be the same pitcher that he is now. Like I think,
I don't think he has to be.
yeah,
I don't think he has to be,
Yeah.
and I think with that being said, as we've seen, like with David Price as an example, he resurrected his career coming out of the bullpen. Granted, after his couple of years with the Dodgers, he hung it up, but he still logged some pretty vital innings for the Dodgers, even after he basically got booted out of starting rotations. Kind of all over the place, not just with the Dodgers organization, but really kind of reinvented himself because he didn't have the high 90s fastball with the high 80s, low 90s slider. Added a changeup into his repertoire. So even with his low 90s, two-seamer, going down to like a low 80s slider, and then now adding a pitch that moves away from the right-handed hitter, I think that really kind of resurrected what David Price was able to do for as long as he was able to do it.
do you know what resurrected and what Verlander added to his game? Kate Upton. That's what really realized.
Yeah.
In all jokes, though.
What a babe, though.
I wish I could whistle right
Lord,
now.
In all jokes,
hallelujah.
that really was that. Like I read a whole article on how
A good woman can do a lot for a man.
Yeah, well,
this is a fact.
She got him in touch with the person that she was seeing because she had, I guess, some type of a doctor, or whatever she was seeing for something, and Verlander was complaining of having, I think it was either a back or some type of shoulder pain. Doctor was like, looked at him, he explained what was going on, and he started like basically doing something to his leg, something
Yeah.
that's completely away from where
Right.
the pain was, and was like, bah, 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 and next day he was like, I feel better. And so it was one of those where
It's amazing.
that doctor really, I think, helped him because at the time, like in reading the article I did, like this was like 7 years ago.
Probably a chiropractor, I would imagine.
It just was, he was in pain, man.
Yeah.
And you saw it
a
in
lot
his
of things
performance.
up here are connected to
Yeah.
your knee or your foot or whatever.
And he's such a man. Like I love watching him.
Yeah.
Like he just
Oh my
his
God, the way he
his mouth
communicates,
presence
yeah.
and his delivery. Like I could sit there all day and just, all right, let's just watch him mow it. I mean,
Dude, wouldn't it be incredible if in 3 years Justin Verlander was the best pitcher in the league at 43?
I love
that. Would be
He was my
freaking
favorite
awesome.
pitcher when he was on Detroit. Yeah, I loved watching, and
It would
we
make
were
you
rivals
happy.
with him. Like,
It
I
would be
still loved
awesome.
him.
All right, we got to move on. We got a lot of names to get through. All right. So the next one is this past year's NL Cy Young winner, Nasty Lefty, one of the only players to win a Cy Young in the NL and the AL. And I think we all know it's Mr. Blake Snell.
Sir. I think it really determines on what franchise he will be on.
or what manager takes him
Yeah,
out.
I don't think he'll be the best pitcher in 3 years. No, but I
right.
do. I am Blake. If you're watching this, sign. Like, I want to know what's going on. I need to see what's going on.
Blake, we know you're watching this.
Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, I do hope the best for him because I do want to see him hold up a trophy. So, but yeah, I mean he's a great pitcher. I mean people still clearly have not figured him out.
Yeah,
and yeah, I mean it's tough.
He's nasty. He's just nasty.
I think he could be another guy that, I mean, he's not reaching that yet, but once he hits that way older mark, that could be a disgusting guy, kind of like a David Price that can come out of a pen or find a new home into a new role to a different team. So, but yeah, no, I think sky's the limit for him, but I don't think he'll be the best pitcher in 3 years. No.
Mace, what's your thoughts on Blake Snell?
My thoughts on Snell is no, he's not going to be the best pitcher in 3 years. I think he's probably 15 clutch hits away from that ERA getting absolutely blown up. Like one of the biggest knocks on Blake Snell is how high his walk rate is.
Yeah.
Granted he has great strikeout numbers, but if he doesn't get some of those Ks in big spots and he ends up making a mistake and somebody takes advantage of that mistakes and he starts giving up more runs, that's where I think Blake Snell is going to get hurt.
It's possible, especially as he gets older, maybe some of the stuff deteriorates. But I've seen an interview with him where he's talking about how the walks have been a problem and he's learned to just accept that, okay, I am going to walk some guys and it's okay because I do have the kind of stuff where I can go strike out the next two guys and that man's left on base. So Blake Snell, I think he has a shot. I think he definitely has a shot to still be the best player or best pitcher in baseball in 3 years. Green, what do you got on Snell?
He's the guy that I want to see probably the most sign out of the free agency class. I want to see where he goes. I want to see where he believes him. He's been kind of thrown around a little bit, and so I kind of want to see where he ends up, finding a home because I think that he. Personally, I'd love to see him on the Orioles. I think if him and John Means there, I think that would be a really cool 1-2 punch, and I think that he would be a guy that could give him that little bit of veteran presence in the not just in the bullpen, but in the dugout, and maybe propel those guys forward. I think stuff wise, good. You said he acknowledged that he walks guys, but he has the stuff to strike them out. When that changes, maybe he pitches a little bit more of the contact. I mean, I think everybody, if you've got that stuff, you got
to use it.
Yeah, you're using that stuff. Like
right.
You saw that, like a big change with CC Sabathia when he went from no longer having that stuff. Then he started really thinking about more mentally, how do I pitch to guys? How do I set guys up? So I think obviously he's a competitor. I think in 3 years, he could still be one of the top pitchers in the league. Maybe not the top, but I don't
one
see,
of the dudes.
Yeah, one of the dudes.
All right. Yeah. What about straight out of Philadelphia, Mr. Zach Wheeler? How are we feeling?
I think
Mason shaking no, Green saying no.
I hate him. I don't love him.
I'm not a huge fan. All right, let's not waste too much time on him then because we got plenty of others. All right, here's one that I'm going to make a bold prediction and say that this guy is going to add a third pitch to his arsenal. He does have a third pitch, but he never throws it. This is a guy who had a phenomenal year, but when it came to the playoffs, he started getting lit up a little bit because he only has two pitches, even though the fastball is 100 miles an hour.
Bro, watch your mouth.
And the breaking ball.
Watch your mouth here.
Whoa, I'm saying he's going to be the best, dude. Chill. But I think Mr. Spencer Strider is going to have to make an adjustment and get a third pitch because just because your fastball is 100, if you only have two pitches and they can sit on one of them, you're in trouble. And we saw that. Also, if your off-speed pitch is just not on that day, you're screwed. So I think to really be successful in the major leagues as a starting pitcher, you need to have at least three pitches. I think Spencer Strider knows that. He's figured that out. He's going to figure out a third pitch. And once he does that, it's going to be dangerous. That's my pick for the best one. What do you guys think about Spencer Strider? Will he be the best pitcher in 3 years from now?
I think he's got the potential to be. And I think you're right, Will. But let's say for the next couple of years, he is in development of that third pitch, whether that be a changeup, a curveball. So I think he needs something that moves vertically or away from a left-handed hitter.
Yeah.
Granted, I think in the playoffs, it was right-handed hitters that actually touched him up. I think Nick Castellanos was one of them.
He got hot, though. Castellanos is a hot hitter.
He was very hot. Jesus, he was on fire. Him and Garcia were. We are sad,
But
Jake.
I do agree that Spencer Strider's ceiling is incredibly high. He's got the potential. He's got the stuff. To
Still young.
Still very young.
He's got the legs.
Just set
for
the
sure.
dude. His legs are
Quadzilla.
ridiculous.
Saquon
Just
Barkley,
set the
MLB.
MLB record all time for most strikeouts in a single season. He's averaging like 15 Ks per 9. I mean, it's insane.
See, but that's the
Green.
thing.
I know you don't like Spencer Strider, but what do you think about this situation?
I think that if you're around this game enough that you realize that it's, a game of adjustments, can you counter, what someone else counters you with? Right now, you've seen that, in a real full season with him being the guy, which is ahead of schedule. I mean, we didn't see him being there, a couple of years ago in the spot he is now. So I think he had a great year this year. Definitely, I think if you could get a third pitch, whatever that is, and then just, mentally, I think just getting more and more, seasons experience underneath you.
Right.
I mean, I think that definitely there's the potential there. Do I think that he becomes, it's fair. I mean, strikeout numbers are there. I mean, ERA wasn't, where you'd want it to be off of those strikeouts, but he's shown that you give him the ball, he can dominate you.
Yeah.
And to me, that is what is a big telling of, can you be the guy at the top of can you give the ball in your hand and you're going to mow everybody down, whether that's strikeouts or it's pitching no one's getting a hit off of you. And he has that more than anybody I think I've seen that young in his age class. I know there's guys that we've talked about that are young and filthy and have filthy stuff, but he's actually shown a full year of production out of it. But yeah, I mean, I like him.
Has the potential. All right.
Yeah.
And I was definitely joking. We all know Green loves Spencer Strider, as do I. We might like the Braves. I don't know. Jake, what are your thoughts on Strider?
I don't think so. I
How
don't.
dare you.
And I think he's a very talented pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that in the playoffs you got to pitch for outs. You can't go out there and just pitch for yourself. And I think that's what he did last year. And if he makes the adjustment, cool. But that's an also if question.
True.
Right? If another team trades for somebody, what happens? There's so many ifs in the MLB. I don't rely on ifs, and I think that that's just too much of an if. If I do think he's gonna go out there and get a third pitch, yes. But how effective will it be? How good will it be? What will it be? And what team will he pitch it against? We don't know. Is he smart with it? There's too many ifs. There's too many variables, and I don't think he'll be the best. No. Will he be effective? Of course.
All right.
He's a huge guy. Throws 100. has a good 2-pitch.
That's fair.
But
I think if he faced anybody else in the playoffs this year, anybody else in
Those
the
fucking
in the first
Phillies,
round,
dude. God, I'm so tired of them, dude.
well, you have to play a division rival, and then on top of that, he's owned the Phillies. That last year he owned them.
Well, it's
But,
we beat them
I remember-
until it's time to really beat them, and then we can't freaking pull it off, dude.
Wait,
It's
so yeah, who
so
went to the semis?
frustrating.
Who went to the semis?
I still remember the
went-
04
Phillies.
Boston Red
Why
Sox
is it
and
not?
Yankees and Johnny Damon. The whole series was could not find a hit. Game 7. What ends up happening?
Wow.
And I was like, the guy was due. You have a game where
I think we should just throw all the games versus the Phillies in the regular season next year just so we can beat their ass in the playoffs finally.
I think I
Let's
want to hear another name
All right.
because I'm tired of hearing the Braves fans love on Strider a little bit too much.
All right, Twins guy.
talking
Joe
Yankees.
Honduran's the best reliever in 3 years. Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
All right, no, let's stay in Atlanta, actually.
Max Fried.
Yes, that is
Crazy.
the next one on the list. Actually,
Sorry.
he's at number 9. Max Fried, disgusting lefty, 3-4 pitch arsenal, really great pitcher.
How old
Was
is
out last year with the he had to get Tommy John, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Still pretty young, yeah. Max Fried's a dude that he could definitely be it. He could definitely be it.
I think he could be better than Strider. I love Fried. I love the stuff that he has, and I think that he's only going to evolve. I think he's only going to get better, and I think he understands the game really well on the mound. So I personally think.
So you got Fried
might wanna
over
press
Strider.
that buzzer right there, but I might take Fried over Strider. I think I'm taking. I love Fried's game. I think Strider's got way more potential and a way higher ceiling, but he's also got a way lower floor. So I don't know, but I think Fried's stuff is disgusting. I think he's a really smart pitcher on the mound.
I think Fried is where he's at right now. Finally everything's clicked.
Yeah.
I think that's a guy who spent the last 3 years finding what his pitch
Dialing it in.
repertoire is and how he's going to go after guys and knowing his stuff. And I think that you've seen him. The change has been, I know how to attack guys Whereas that's where I think that if you're a Braves fan or if you're a Spencer Strider fan, you hope in 3 years that he gets to where Fried is right now, upstairs with what he wants to do.
Maybe
and
Fried helps
getting
him.
that third
Yeah,
pitch.
hopefully
Yeah,
Fried
maybe
can help
Fried
him.
helps
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, and I mean to have, I know it's not just a Braves fan, but to have those two guys, and then you still have Charlie Morton and now Chris Sale, a guy who's been the guy from the left side, and Charlie
Chris
Morton's
Sale.
been a guy from
Yeah.
to help those two younger guys, and hopefully in 3 years. I mean, that really could look like the closest thing to Atlanta getting
actually
back
forgot
to
about Sale, yeah.
Maddox, Glavlin, and
Smoltz.
Mace, what's your thoughts on
I think
Max Fried?
that Fried, again, kind of going off what Jake said, he does have a high ceiling. I look at Max Fried and growing up and watching, a guy like Clayton Kershaw, and the other two guys that I kind of want to compare him to are Barry Zito and Mark Mulder. I think you get Max Fried as a combination of those three dudes put together. He's got the same kind of hook that Barry Zito and Clayton Kershaw have. Granted, I don't get me wrong, it's not the same. Those two had
100%.
absolutely disgusting curveballs their entire career. Fried's is close behind it, but it's not. It's not that them. You know what I mean? But it also has. I think he has the command that Mark Mulder had. From the left side with the Oakland A's. And now with a couple other pitches, you got a slider, you got a changeup out of Fried, and I think he's really starting to learn how to pitch with those pitches, kind of like a Mark Mulder or a Barry Zito. Kershaw, in my opinion, he doesn't have a changeup. He developed a third pitch being that slider, and that's really what's carried him, through these, later 30s, of his career.
Yeah.
And, that's why I think Clayton Kershaw has still been relevant, because when Kershaw first came up, he was a mid to high 90s fastball with that 68, 69, 70 mile an hour curveball. And that was just he was working north and
Massive.
south.
That's
100%.
massive.
And now with the 90 mile an hour fastball that Kershaw has with an 88 mile an hour slider, now he's starting to learn how to pitch north and south.
Yeah.
Where I think Fried is already kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great take. I love those comparisons. That really, I think you hit it right on the head. The Barry Zito Kershaw curveball, it's definitely, it's right there. It might not be quite as good, but definitely a
Can we
nasty,
please stop playing around and just bring up the Dodger pitchers by now?
nasty
Come on,
hook. We
gotta bring it up.
got
That whole
two
farm
more. We got
system.
two more on this list. We can get through them pretty quick. So we got Logan Webb and Sonny Gray. I'm gonna say
Sonny
no.
Gray,
I'm gonna
no.
say Logan Webb. No. Sonny
No.
Gray. No. I will say this about Sonny Gray. I absolutely love Sonny Gray. He's a dude who doesn't have the tremendous stuff, but absolutely knows how to pitch, has a plan, knows how to attack hitters. Was second in the Cy Young last year.
Yep.
So I think he honestly, I don't think he'll be the best, but I do think he can have a tremendous next 3 to 5 years and be one of the best pitchers. Go into that Cardinals organization. Maybe he gives them some
That's
life.
what I was going to say.
Can I throw out a name?
Yeah.
Jack Leiter.
Ooh,
Okay.
that's interesting.
No.
You never know.
I don't believe so.
Kumar Rocker.
I think.
Coming out.
What about Frankie Valdez? That's a guy that we haven't brought up. I mean, he has the ability, and plus he's behind Verlander now. I mean, that's another guy we talk about learning. I mean, that's a great guy that can learn. But I mean, going back to Gray, I watched him all year last year. That man is disgusting, and he's smart. But I don't think he'll be. I think last year was his best year, and I think he's gonna kind of fizzle out. I do think that he'll be good, but he might put up an all-star year here and there. But I don't think
he's
he'll
too
be
old
that.
now.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be that Cy Young contendee anymore.
Yeah.
But I do think Leiter will beat him out. I think Leiter's a good pitcher. I think
It just made me think. I mean, because Sonny Gray came out of Vanderbilt, Jack out of Vandy. I mean,
Yeah.
they've had a lot of even Bueller. There's
been a lot of good arms come out of there.
Vandy supplies great arms, and I think because we went to the last segment with hitters, but I mean, I think Walker Bueller. I mean, I cannot express how much I hate the Dodgers. There is not enough time.
We'll be here for 2 hours.
But I have always, from the first time I saw Walker Bueller, I've appreciated his game, and I think that is a guy who I looked at and went, give that guy, 3, 4, 5 years. That guy could be the, next to me, Clayton Carter, the face of this is the best pitcher in the league. I've looked
Come
at
get
his
him,
stuff.
yeah.
So
just
let's stay
think
there.
he's
Let's
got
stay
that.
there on the Dodgers.
Bring
so
him
you
up.
got
Bring him
Walker
up.
Bueller.
bring him up.
You got
Yamamoto.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto, And then you got Shohei Ohtani.
And now you have a returning Dustin
And
May.
you have Glass now.
And you got Bobby Miller.
Glass no. And you have Jesus.
Does it
Christ.
make you nervous?
You throw Dustin
at
May.
all?
I think you throw Dustin May.
I
in the
think
relief.
Dustin May has the nastiest stuff in the major leagues. When he is healthy, oh my God.
That's a really hot take.
It is a hot
You might
take.
want to take that back.
No,
But
dude, I'm not.
Think about
He's
that-
got
that-
100-mile pitch that moves like 19 inches.
Joe
dude.
Hunter has a 98 mile per hour splitter.
I don't care, bro.
My thinking is though, like if you really went with like the 5 guys that I think of, and I know that because of injury, they're gonna be careful with them. But if you're going Shohei, Tommy John, Walker Buehler, Tommy John, Dustin May, Tommy John, Japanese pitcher
Yamamoto. He's got a name.
Unproven. Like to
There's
me,
a lot of what ifs
like,
right
to me,
there.
like,
There
that,
is.
that 4 right there. I mean, like if you look at the potential, oh my God! I mean, that is. I mean, you could not ask for a
They have the potential to be the
better
best 5 of all time.
starting 4. You could have him pitch 5th, and
What
everybody
the hell?
would still win the division.
Put the buzzer. Put the buzzer. They need to, do you hear this? Wow.
Shots
You know what's crazy? It's because
fired.
he's a pitcher too, so he could have easily said,
Every
you can
ti-
put myself up there. But instead he pointed to his right.
Every Dodger fan would just be like, "Oh yeah, Hicks." Though, like nobody would hate you. Everybody you'd be a fan.
Jake
favorite.
Hicks, everybody.
Okay, I'm trying to get you to get it because you still have time. I'm past my time.
You're trying to save yourself right now.
I think you couldn't ask for a better. However,
100%.
being in reality, it will be very interesting to see how those 4,
Yeah.
and especially when they're committed to them, because I don't think they're going to just give up on Buehler. They're not going to give up on May. Obviously, you're tied in Shohei, and you're tied into is it Yamamoto?
Yamamoto.
To me, like that is going to be, to me, the biggest question mark going forward for the Dodgers is do those 4, based off their health, that will determine to me if they end up winning World Series or a World Series.
You want to talk about high ceilings? Let's talk about Yamamoto. Yamamoto has the potential to be the best pitcher for years to come.
And you know that
25
from your 20 years scouting? You know
25 years
No,
old.
no, but he's 20. He's 25. He's got a lot of time, and he could.
num-
And he's next to the other Japanese pitcher, the most recent Japanese pitcher in the league, Shohei Ohtani, who's won. I think I believe he's won a Cy Young since he's been in the league. Correct?
No.
no
MVP.
He's won MVPs.
MVP.
Yeah, but he's been up for Cy Youngs, and he's been the guy. I mean,
Well, the numbers Yamamoto's put up in Japan are nothing to sneeze at either. These are elite numbers. He's won Cy Youngs or MVPs or whatever you want to call it. I mean, he's been the best pitcher over there for 4 years.
it is a whole different game, though.
And it is, but that's still very high level.
Yeah.
Let's not like the Japan league is
no, that's what I'm saying.
absolutely
They're
legit.
two different games.
It's
Like they're not
but-
talent wise, but like kind of like
The game is
moral wise
played
and all
there.
that value wise.
But to y'all's point about or to Green's point about all the Tommy Johns in that rotation,
Yeah.
absolutely, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys are able to come back. But we have seen in this day and age that a lot of times dudes can come back from Tommy John and be throwing even harder and have even better shit. So it's like it could be absolutely terrifying, or it
Buehler's on
could
his-
be a total shit show.
But Buehler, I believe, is on his second.
Yeah.
Right? Buehler's on his second.
Shohei's on his second.
Second. And then
Glass
Dustin,
now.
and Glass,
Now you
yeah.
bring-
And is May? Or
May
he,
is on his first.
So like that to me is
That's
where
a
it's
lot. That's a lot of wear and tear.
and especially when you look at that, especially when it comes to at least with, well, I mean, I guess if you want to throw Shohei in there, because I still look at, he's not old, but between Dustin May, Buehler, and Shohei, for them to already be on, like, well, not May because he's on the first, but those two being on their second, like, you know, if they only sustain, if they lose one of them, no big deal. But then it's just, it's going to be interesting. I think the thing that helps them more than anything playing now than it did 10 years ago is that starters aren't trying to go 7 to 8 innings. Now,
Very good
being
point.
able to go 5.
Very good point.
You know, you can, workload or manage the workload.
Yeah.
You know, different.
staff it up.
To that point, Nick, I would not hate to see the Dodgers go to a 6-man rotation.
I think you're going to see
Throw Sheehan in
probably
there
going to see
or
more.
Miller.
Miller and Sheehan,
Yeah,
right?
why
So
not?
your rotation
Miller's
turns
disgusting. I love
like
Miller.
for this coming year, your rotation is going to be Walker Buehler, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow,
Dustin May.
Bobby Miller. No, Dustin May's not coming back until the
Oh, yeah,
All-Star
yeah,
break.
he's injured, yeah.
And Emmett Sheehan right now.
Yeah,
Right now, those are the 5.
Which is solid.
You know, but you
ridiculous,
you add one more of those younger pitchers that the Dodgers have been developing, like
Everybody
a Michael
gets
Grove,
more rest.
you know, or even like throw who's the lefty that they just got, the older lefty, kind of throws from a lot of different angles. Tampa Bay guy.
I know what you're talking about.
No, not Jordan Montgomery.
I'm blanking.
I I forgot. Tampa Bay guy.
He doesn't throw very hard.
Yeah.
Yarbrough, Ryan Yarbrough.
Yeah, Ryan
Yeah,
Yarbrough.
make him the sixth guy. So that way, the pressure of those first four guys performing isn't quite as high. And then on top of that, they have more rest time, which is going to be more along the lines of what Japanese baseball is.
And you can survive with a Yarbrough with that offense. I mean,
100%. And that's kind of where I was going with that.
Yeah, like
I think
he could kind of he could have a decent game, but you have Mookie, Shohei, Freddie Freeman. You have all these hitters that can keep you in it.
They should open to where in the playoffs they open up 2 more spots. I think as a rule change going with how things are going in this game, I think it should be regular season adds to, because then you can go with getting a swingman as well as throwing another arm in the bullpen, because with the way that we're having starters go about 5 innings, bullpens are getting more taxed, so it becomes a little bit more, I would say, of a chess game of especially as you get towards later in the year. You don't want to stress your bullpen out too much. You especially see that when it gets to the playoffs. But I think opening up 2 spots would be huge for clubs for the regular season. And then if you want to open up 1 more for the playoffs, but I think you opened up for 2 for the regular season.
They already opened it up 1 more, right?
Yeah.
So now the regular season roster is 26.
No, I think it's 20. I could be wrong. I thought it was 25 because it was.
I think originally it was 25, and I think they opened it up 1 to 26.
I think they did. How
many more pitches do you have on that list? Because I have 2 more.
Okay, well, shit, we're at like 30. What do you got, Jake?
I have one guy. I'm just curious on what you guys feel about
relievers.
It's got to be starters, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm curious on what you guys feel about Kershaw and where, like, what do you think he's gonna? Because I think he's gonna go to Texas. And I think he's. Gonna
if you're talking about, I think he's gonna stay a Dodger for life.
Yes.
He might as well. But I think if you're talking about who's gonna be the best in 3 years from now, no, I don't think he's in that conversation. I think he's close to being done. He's on a year-to-year thing. I don't think he's gonna be willing to go to the bullpen. That's kind of how I feel about Kershaw.
I also don't think he's going to end his career the way he did, getting absolutely lit
no,
up in the
he's
playoffs.
not done. No. There's no way he goes
and
out
I think,
like that.
but I do think he goes back to Texas.
Who's the other guy you got, Jake? Because we need to wrap this thing.
Nathan Eovaldi.
Oh, good one. I like him, dude. He was
what are you
good. Green, yeah. What is
Nathan
that
Eovaldi?
face?
He showed that he can be in the big time. Is Scherzer still there? Correct?
Scherzer,
yeah.
still there. You have DeGrom.
Man, fuck, we forgot about DeGrom.
I know. That's what I was going to say.
Jesus
Because you kept on
Christ.
bringing up the Tommy John, can a guy come back? That's the guy I can see coming back.
If DeGrom
That
comes
guy's
back
pissed.
healthy, he's the best pitcher in
And he
baseball.
pitches the best angry.
He
He's
is the
angry
best
for not
pitcher
pitching for that
in
long.
baseball.
Like, he's been eating to come back. And but
in my opinion. All right, final picks. No explanation. Spencer Strider.
I don't want to go next.
I don't want to go next.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, I already threw my one out there already in the last segment, but
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yamamoto.
All right.
Nick Green, you're up.
3 years. Walker Buehler.
All right.
I'm gonna try to. I can't pull out another one. Another one. I feel like we forgot about is Luis Severino, but we're not gonna discuss that. I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1. Yamamoto. I think Yamamoto's gonna
2 Yamamoto, 1 Strider, and 1 Walker Buehler. So 3 Dodgers. Good Lord, that's scary.
Yup.
All right.
Shout out Johan Duran though.
Yeah, a lot of good arms. Maybe we'll do best relievers another day. But good stuff, guys. Really good takes there. A lot of fun today. Awesome stuff. If you're still watching, we really appreciate it. Please hit the like, comment, subscribe, tell your friend. Shout out to our sponsors, South Bay Credit Union and Restore Hyper Wellness. Make sure you go back and check out some of the other interviews. Also, Sandlot Radio Show. We have interviews with Mookie Betts, Kike Hernandez, Rob Nelson, who created Big League Chew, Matt Holliday, all kinds of legends in the game right now and former. You can watch all those, listen to those actually on SoundCloud for free. Link is in our bio on Instagram at Wrecking Yard Baseball. Make sure you guys follow us. Follow Sandlot_The Crew. Follow Sandlot Radio Show. Wrecking Yard Will, Mason Morioka, Coach Green with 2 underscores. Coach Hicks? Coach Hicks, what's your Instagram?
Coach Jake Hicks.
Coach Jake Hicks.
Yes, sir.
And we got a lot more heat coming for you guys. Appreciate you. So we will see you on the next one.